Bangkok. In 2017, global smartphone penetration was 59.01%, and this increased to 78.05% in 2020. As of January 2022, 62.5% of the world's total population had access to high speed mobile internet, and most smartphones have QR scanners or can easily download apps that can do so. And there's a reason why I'm talking about this. It's because QR codes are the wave of the future and supposedly are bettering your life, even though you might not know it. A couple of years ago, I talked about how one of the many Starbucks in Bangkok was no longer accepting cash, and I didn't like it because accept cash. I asked myself that and asked her, what is the point of this? But nowadays, and prompted by China and the pandemic, cash is becoming less used and is viewed by some in the medical community as unhygienic and even dangerous. And I'll tell you why later on in the video, exactly why. American Airlines no longer accepts cash, nor does Delta or JetBlue, Southwest or Spirit or United. There are many airlines that no longer accept cash. There are many places that no longer will accept cash. And I don't understand it because I always thought cash was king. And many years ago, I thought a wad of cash was the way to go. The only problem is that there are some unscrupulous people, robbers, thieves, who are willing to even kill for what is a small amount of cash. Now, I don't know that they're willing to kill you for your QR code, but then plastic became the way to go. Black cards, platinum cards, green cards, gold cards, whatever card has an available balance, that became the card to use. And now in 2022, we are no longer in the age of cash or plastic. Now we are in the age of the contactless payment. QR codes are available everywhere nowadays. And if you don't know, QR stands for quick response. And the reason that people are using this, aside from the hygiene aspect, is the increased interoperability, convenience, supposedly. Some people don't believe that, but that's another discussion. Let me give you a few examples of just how prevalent QR codes are. For one, if you get into a taxi nowadays, here in Thailand, you get into a Thai taxi or a motorbike, most of them will accept payment through your bank's app and through a QR code. When I go grocery shopping, I often, almost always, pay with my bank's app. The app that scans, it's a QR scanner, and it scans the code at the grocery store. And the reason, I don't want to have to carry a wallet. I'll carry one card sometimes just in case I can't use the QR code, or maybe I'll have some cash. But I'll give you another example. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, everybody. Sawadee ton chow. Yesterday at Starbucks, there was a problem with their payment processing device. They had some problems processing debit cards and credit cards, and I used the very same device to process. They used the very same device to process my QR code. There was absolutely no problem with it, and this was the same account as the account that my debit card was attached to. Good morning, everybody. A couple of weeks ago, I ordered some T-shirts, and the manufacturer actually sent me an invoice with a QR code on it so that I could track the shipment. Yesterday, I needed to send some documents to another province, and I wanted them delivered the next day. I didn't want to use EMS, so I used Carry Express. They came to my house. I gave them the envelope with the documents, and they gave me a little slip of paper, which I don't know where it is right now. I think it's on my kitchen table. They gave me a little slip of paper, and that also was for tracking purposes. They're used all over now, and you may not even realize it, but QR codes supposedly better your life. At least this is what we're led to believe. They make things more convenient, and in a few short years, they are going to change the world if certain people have their way. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. And by November of this year, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines are set to sign a deal to integrate their QR code payment systems. This will allow people to buy goods and services throughout the region by just scanning QR codes, bypassing the need for US dollars as an intermediary. And by 2025, QR code payments will reach a value of $3 trillion. $3 trillion. If you're planning to travel in Southeast Asia later this year or any time, it's November or later, supposedly, you may be able to even pay for your travel without any hassle, without any currency exchange. Richard, thank you. I will talk to you after the stream. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Like I said, at this point, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Philippines. However, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand are already connected. Singapore is linked to Thailand, and they are seeking to add more countries. Once the linkage is completed, payments made through the system will use local currency settlements between the countries. So this is pretty big here. And you know, QR codes in Thailand are they're used everywhere. I mean, really, you can't go anywhere where they're not used. Even if at a stall they are used. Good morning, Andy. QR codes were first developed in Japan, but they've been made popular by China. The country uses QR codes practically everywhere. Apart from macro factors, there is a strong fundamental reason for this attraction towards QR codes in China, and that is that Mandarin and Cantonese are very difficult languages, even for the locals. This is why Chinese prefer to use voice messages as opposed to text messages, and this is why they would rather scan a QR code than type a URL in a mobile browser. I guess the same could be said for Thai. And this behavior has pushed businesses, along with the pandemic, to adopt QR codes wherever possible. Tencent Holdings and Alibaba Group, both of China, are largely responsible for the growth of QR codes. But what exactly does this mean to people? And in the case of Southeast Asia, payments transacted in Thailand using an Indonesian app. So if you're in Indonesia, you use their app, the payment would be directly exchanged between rupiah and baht, bypassing the need for the US dollar. So, you know, I guess you could say the same with a credit card. I don't know how that's going to work with the exchange rate or whatever, how much you're going to save or whatever by bypassing the US dollar. But once the payment network between the 5 countries has been completed, the central banks will seek to link this network with other regional clusters around the world. That will then bring the same structure to real-time bank transfers and even central bank digital currencies eventually. The Monetary Authority of Singapore Managing Director Ravi Menon during a panel in Bali said this can be a deeply impactful move that we can build to the rest of the world. It's a public good infrastructure which improves financial inclusion, enhances efficiency, and creates new business opportunities for all citizens. I don't know how much this is going to affect us, but I do think it's going to affect us. With massive acceptance and use of the QR code payment among merchants and buyers globally, paired by the increase in the use of smartphones and faster internet connectivity, market experts are mostly optimistic with the payment method's growth. In fact, according to a recent report by Juniper Research, global spending using QR codes has risen 25% from 2022, or it will rise 25% from now, 2022, from 2.4 trillion to 3 trillion in 2025. This growth will be driven by the increasing focus on improving the level of financial inclusion in developing regions and providing alternatives to established payment methods in developed regions. So that's what they are after. I don't know if you're going to have to download a particular app from a country or how it's going to work. Maybe they have one app that works for everything. I don't know. Maybe you just connect your bank account to it. I don't know, which that introduces some possible other issues. But there are prospects for adoption and growth that are strong in markets with national schemes already in place, such as Thailand. And this is mainly due to incentives that promote the ease of use for consumers. This is a major factor. It's that it is very easy to use. Everybody has a phone. Almost everybody has a phone, a smartphone nowadays. I don't know. I didn't think about this until just this second, but what happens if you run out of parts or any of the materials that you need to make the smartphone? Then what are you going to do to make payments if there's a shortage of smartphones? India holds the most potential, according to Juniper, the organization that did this research, as the transaction value of QR code payments is forecasted to increase from 62 billion in 2022 to 125 billion by 2026. So they're going to double in 4 years. Now, just like with credit card use, there can be fraud, and this can be a problem, and so can QR codes. The main way that QR codes are used to commit fraud is by replacing or covering static QR codes with new codes set up by the fraudster. Now, I just thought of something. When you're in a taxi, a lot of taxis now, they have a QR code right on the back, on a placard on the back of their seat. Or they have their bank number. But a lot of them now, they have the QR code because it's very easy to get your own QR code from the bank if you have an app on your phone. So really what could happen is, and I didn't think of this until just now, but they put up their placard. Hey, this is about the size that these drivers are using. You could take some kind of material, print out your own QR code, and when the driver is not aware of what you're doing, you paste it on the back of that. They can't tell. Somebody else can't tell. Now, I don't know if that would work, because once you make the payment, the driver is aware of whether he gets paid or not. Most of the time, they set it up to where they get an automatic message saying you've been paid. So if you pay and it goes to somebody else's account, the driver's going to be like, "Hey, what's going on? I didn't get the payment." And then here the person in the back seat's going, "I sent the payment. Here it is right here. Oh, that's not my account." So that could be a big problem. And that's for a relatively small amount of money. The new code could route a payment to a different destination or lead a customer to a fake website. This is one of the problems. And for now, what's recommended, don't click on a QR code unless you are absolutely certain of its origin and destination. Now, something else that I said earlier was that money tends to be very dirty and it holds germs for quite some time. So that's something that we have to consider, that, okay, well, contactless, maybe we don't know the full extent of germs. I mean, it wasn't so long ago that people took a shower once a month or once a week. They took a shower when they could because there wasn't water readily available. If they were a cowboy, they went out on the trail and maybe they were out for 2 weeks and they didn't, I can't imagine that. Maybe they took a quick shower in a stream or something and they didn't get a good shower or bath until they got into town. So I don't think we know the full extent of what germs can do. However, in the case of money, there have been some studies done, and a 2002 report in the Southern Medical Journal found that fecal matter, pathogens, including Staphylococcus, were on 94% of dollar bills tested. Paper money can reportedly carry more germs than a household toilet, and bills are a hospitable environment for gross microbes. Viruses and bacteria can live on most surfaces for about 48 hours, but paper money can reportedly transport a live flu virus for up to 17 days. And this alone is enough to make some people change over to the QR code method of payment, although cell phones are pretty dirty too. Money is basically filthy. Studies show that a solid majority of U.S. bills are contaminated by cocaine. Drug traffickers often use coke-sullied hands to move cash, and many users roll bills into sniffing straws, and the brushes and rollers in ATMs may distribute the nose candy through the rest of the money supply. So, when you are touching bills, whatever the currency may be, consider that it might have some fecal matter on it, lots of germs, maybe some cocaine. Although I wouldn't try, scraping any off of there and snorting it, because you're probably not going to get enough. But, yeah. QR codes, they are the way of the future. And, I dare say that this is going to change the way that the world interacts. It may be 2025 is only 3 years away. I don't know how fast they can implement this around the world. But let's see if it happens, and if they keep progressing. Apparently, day by day, QR code additions and payments are increasing drastically, and so it really feasibly, this could be done in the next 5 years, to where there is no more transfers from abroad. There are no more things. Maybe PayPal. I think PayPal's got with the program. They have a QR code system for some areas, but there may not be this wait of, say, 3 days if you're making a bank transfer by wire. It may be immediate everywhere, and it's done automatically through the system. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but let me read some of these messages from the people here. I've been using QR payment every day since I got my bank account. Very convenient and almost available everywhere. Yeah. I mean, you can go to a small shop and you ask the lady, need QR, man? And they do. And like I said, Starbucks, there was a Starbucks that they stopped taking, I don't remember which one it was, but they stopped accepting cash. They no longer accept cash. And what's going to happen? One day there will be no cash. Everything's going to be done electronically. I don't know how I feel about that. And I know that some people are saying that, it's a method for the government to track us and track everything we do. Yeah, I mean, I know they want to, especially in the United States, they want to, but like for me, they can track me all they want, you know. Now, if the Thai government starts tracking my wife, I wouldn't be too happy about that because, that can be beneficial to have somebody from another country. But there is a rule or a method of doing things, and that is to live in one country, have a passport in another country, and then to get paid in one country, keep your money in another country. So you have three different, actually, you have your money in one country, uh, you have your money in one country. How does it work? You keep your money in one country, you earn your money in another country, and then you live in a third country. So now the problem with that is not everybody can do that. And this is another thing too, is how quick response. Uh, well, I don't know how many people have had their QR. How many people have had their QR system suspended? I kind of wonder about that. And you're saying, Fire Dude is saying, easier for you, but easier for them to turn you off. Well, how often do people get turned off now? Okay, people who are against the government, yeah, that happens. People who are doing gross crimes, yeah, that happens. But how many times has anybody in this chat had their bank account locked down for basically no reason at all, or their QR code? Never happened to me. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that I agree with. I think it really begs the question of how far we want to go and do we really need it? What's wrong with just paying with cash? I mean, granted, yeah, people rob other people. People get robbed because they got a large amount of cash on them. But there are ways around that as well. Well, quite frankly, I don't care about China, what they do in China. I don't mean to sound unsympathetic, but that's not my concern because guess what? I can't do a damn thing about it. I can't do anything about what goes on in China. And as far you have a credit score already. In the United States, even you have a credit score, and it can affect you. I don't have a credit score anymore, fortunately, because I haven't had any credit that could be traced to the United States. The only credit I have is here in Thailand, and my credit is very good. I don't know about a credit score and how my credit score would be, but quite frankly, I think we need to look into this deeper. There needs to be a little more transparency before they just do everything and, well, if you don't like it, too bad, don't do it. I don't think they've said, oh, we're going to do away with credit cards or anything like that. I don't think that that's in the cards, at least in the future, or debit cards even. You know, so I think really the bottom line is, for me at least, I'm really undecided about this. Now, it is definitely more convenient. I don't have to listen. I go even when I need to take cash out of the bank. I don't need my card. When I go to make a payment somewhere, I know, like if I go in the mall, I don't need to bring my wallet, a card. I don't even need cash. I just go with my phone. Is my phone charged up? Do I have a power bank that I can charge my phone? And even if I didn't, most of the time, at least here in Thailand, somebody would say, I'll give you a cable so you can at least charge it up to turn your phone on. That's how nice they are here. They will allow you to do that because they want to get paid. I understand about credit. I mean, the thing is that, in America, everybody has a credit score, or most people have a credit score, and it can affect your ability to get a job. It can affect your ability to do many things, obviously to get credit. Credit can be a good thing, but for the most part, I don't think it is a good thing. I think it's best if you don't have the money, you don't buy it. You know, I'm not confusing a social credit score and a like a TRW. You know, those are obviously different. So, but the point is that I'm making is we we already have credit ratings in the United States. They're all over the place. They're here in Thailand. Uh, if they start instituting social credit in the United States, social credit as in the way that China implements it, then we're in trouble, in my opinion. I don't like that. However, I will say this: when you go to your car and you touch the door with your thumb and it opens up the door for you, or you look into your phone and it opens the phone, unlocks the phone because of your eye, that's a similar way of doing something. You're doing it with a machine. And as long as machines have been around, um, there has been the question of are machines going to do away with human beings and that sort of thing. And I think I don't mean to go off on a tangent there, but I think it's important that we realize that they're going to do it no matter what, you know. I do think they're going to do it eventually. So, I don't think there's much we can do about it because it doesn't seem like these banks and these companies are asking people, "Hey, can we do this? Or would you like it if we do this?" They're not saying that. So I don't think we really have that much of a choice. Now, you do have a choice. Hey, if you can pay another way, don't pay that way then. If you don't like it, don't pay. I understand, and if you remember, I complained vehemently about the Starbucks and I went into Starbucks, in a local Starbucks. I went in and I said, hey, you know, what gives? Why is it they don't take cash? Now they don't really know. Each Starbucks operates independently for the most part, although I think the three in the mall are all connected. However, I really thought about that, and I don't know how I feel about that because, first of all, there is something to be said about carrying a wad of cash in your pocket. There was a time I used to carry around 30 grand, 50,000 baht in my pocket all the time. You needed money. It feels good to have a big wad of cash and you peel off, 10,000 baht. Well, I have Ethereum. I have, digital currency. And, I don't know really how I feel about that either, although I would think that it's a good thing. But robberies, you think about something, Gennaro. How are some of these places going to be robbed? Well, yeah, in that sense, yes, you're right, Gennaro. And actually, like if I go into the grocery store or I go to Starbucks, they have to push a sequence of buttons on their machine to get the QR code to come up, and then I have to scan that. So it's not like they're going to have a QR code and people are going to be able to put something over and then they skim. Somebody is like, oh, it's almost the same as skimming a card. Then people are going to somehow place something over the grocery store's QR code. It's not going to happen because each one is brought up by the cashier. They are standing right there. If they, I don't know how slick you would have to be to put something over it. And anyway, the thing is there is a digital receipt. So when they get a receipt, that's when they say you're paid. If they don't get a receipt, they go, you haven't been paid. So granted, you're going to lose out. They're not going to lose out. They're not going to get robbed. So, this is something that, again, and even with crypto. Now, my wife put a little money in crypto. Crypto took a shit, like, a couple months later, took a big dump. And she's like, it went all the way down. I go, I know. Well, fortunately, you didn't have that much in there. I go, just sit on it. It'll go back up eventually. Yeah, I don't know what Western countries are cashless. But I do know that America has started to get with the program, and there are some other areas. I didn't know that the Nordic countries are already cashless. But I do know that, and I had asked this quite some time ago, Apple Pay, you cannot use Apple Pay in Thailand. I can receive money in Apple Pay because I have a U.S. account. And then I can transfer it to my U.S. bank account. But other than that, you can't make a payment with Apple Pay here. They don't use it here. And quite frankly, I don't think enough people use Apple Pay to make it the premium payment method. I mean, I really think that, honestly, that having some kind of a code or paying directly from your bank account, as long as you are certain of the origin and destination, I think that is the way to go. So, I think it's going to take some time, and I think it's going to take, before people really get comfortable with it, I think it's going to take some time. Wow. By 2024, the prediction is only 2% of transactions in Australia will be cash. Currently sits at 8%. That's wild. And I still remember, think about it. Back in many, many years ago, things were done by barter and cash. Things were traded. Do you have I'll give you 2 cows for 100 chickens or whatever it was. And so, then it's slowly become where the barter system is pretty much out. I mean, there are still people that try to do it, and there are people that do it. But for the most part, it's done. And so is cash. I hate to say that. And it really, as much as I see somebody like Floyd Mayweather thrown around as cash, I'm sure that I know for a fact that he has tried his hand at NFTs and that sort of thing. But apparently this is the wave of the future. And I've said it before, I'm not particularly fond of the direction that the world has gone. And all you can do is do what you can to alleviate some of the problems that come with the new world. Like, if you don't like social media, then don't go on. You don't have to. There's nobody saying you got to post on Facebook. There's nobody saying you got to post on Instagram. Quite frankly, at this point, I'm sick of all of them. I'm sick of all of these. So, what's the point of being overly concerned with it? If you don't care, you don't care. You're apathetic. You go, eh. You don't have to get you don't have to get involved in a lot of the things. Now, there's some things you can't change, and if the only way they're going to take payments is through a QR code, then guess what? The only way you're going to make payments is through a QR code, where you're going to have to find somebody who's like, okay, I'll take your gold coins, or I'll take those old $100 bills. There's going to be a premium attached to exchanging that. It'll always be around, but I think that we have to look at it and see what it is, and exactly what it is, and what it does. And while I like the whole convenience thing, I think it's extremely convenient. I don't have to bring a wallet anymore. What do I need a wallet for? I have everything on my phone. What do I need a wallet for? I go to the ATM. I withdraw money from the ATM. I don't even use a wallet. I don't use a card. I don't use anything. All I do is open up the bank app, scan the code they put up for me, and I punch in how much I want. Boom, the money comes out. That's simple. All right, listen, that's all I have. I'm done for the day, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you did so. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Get yourself a shirt, t-shirt, get yourself a hat, coffee mug. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so at anamericaninbangkok.com, or just go down below in the description. Everything's down below in the description. But feel free to leave a comment telling me what your opinion is of QR codes, because I would like to know, because there are a lot of things I haven't thought about. I mean, I don't sit here and think all day, hey, what about QR codes? Hey, what do I think about this? Hey, what's going to be next? Hey, what's dangerous about? I haven't had a chance. They've been implemented so quickly. Maybe they're doing this for a reason. But in time, people will start to catch on. They will start to see what the scams are. They will start to see just how things are done, and they'll make the choice. And one way or the other, something's going to happen. Whether QR codes go away or whether they start being used more often. So, anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys and see you when I see you. All right? Ciao.